Are people going to choose to have relationships with robots?
I think the thing that threatens relationships more than anything else is not so much the robots, but the artificial intelligence bots that are companion bots that are more digital. I don't necessarily know that the human, like the robot form, eventually, maybe, but like my mind's not there. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, eventually, yes.
It's going to be indistinguishable.
What is wild is if you were to study what's happening right now with companion bots, meaning artificial intelligence, not physical bots, but just AI companion bots, it is some of the stickiest technology we'd ever see in our lifetime. It is so sticky. Once people start using those companion bots to converse,
dude, I'm seeing these news stories of like young men falling in love with these bots.
It's happening
all the time. There's like a Game of Thrones bot that like remember that and like told I guess the guy was a little mentally unstable, has his own issues, but like was deep in this bot, like having conversations as though it's a real person, taking everything to heart.
I know this. That's happening. That will happen. I don't think I like it. I do like some of the mental health stuff because anyone could have access theoretically to the best psychologist, who gets to know you and understand you. Again, these are things at the top 1%. We all have access to it. Most people don't. To have access to like state-of-the-art, the best psychology, right? The best custom for you. Education is going to be radically reformed.
Physical health, I think, would be crazy.
Physical health, right?
Like,
how about having your bot trainer at home? Have your robot trainer, like your physical therapist?
But I'm saying this is the epitome of population decline because someone doesn't need to go out and be social. They don't need to meet anybody. They could have one robot that serves every single purpose: a friend, a companion, a lover, a psychiatrist, a doctor, a personal trainer. You download whatever you want to. They're everything you want. You don't want to talk to them. You tell them away.
That's a deep, dark wormhole. I will tell you this. I'm older than you guys. I grew up in the 80s and 90s. And you know how people say, oh, and they look at videos of people when they went to parties, how they're interacting and engaging and what it was like. I'm going to tell you right now, it really was that good. Like it's no bullshit. Like I reminisce. I talk to my friends all the time. I'm like, do you realize how lucky we were that we got to be in high school in the late 80s, early 90s? And we're all like, dude, it was incredible. Like no phones, no anything, no record of anything. People all talk to each other.
No record of anything.
You would engage deeply with other humans all the time. Like you were constantly just looking in the eyes of your friends and just engaging and hanging out and having these moments all the time. There was never a phone. It didn't exist. I do agree with you. It scares the hell out of me because it's not an exaggeration that that time period was so special. It was phenomenal. It was great. I would do anything to go back there. I even say, like, I hope that the metaverse can replicate that world so I can just go back and relive some of it. Because, like, it was really that good. And I have massive concern about, like, the way that this is messing with our heads right now. Like, no one's head's more messed with them. I told you, I spend hours a night on TikTok for my profession, and it has rewired my brain to where I can no longer watch a movie anymore. I can't sit down and watch a TV
show. You know what's bad? I started watching Netflix 2x speed. They offer a feature 2x
I would do
speed
that
because I'm like,
I would do that.
Slow. Like I'm so attuned to YouTube algorithms
it's
where
a
I'm like,
sickness.
There's a pause for a few seconds. I'm like, skip.
That's crazy. What does Macy think about that?
I don't do that with Macy. But if I'm like traveling on a plane or something like that, or I'll just put it on.
I force myself now. I say, hey, this show's great. I know it's great. I'm taking my phone. I'm going to force myself to watch this. And it's so slow. And it's like, but I'm like, I can't. 'Cause if I don't do this, my brain is going to get so warped. And it's like, I know what it's like to be a 15-year-old. Like, it's horrible, guys. It's horrible.
But you hear stories of people, like, they're getting married later, they're having kids later, they're having their first, like, intimate experiences later in life. They're more, but I think all of that's a reflection of just people are glued to their phones, not having social interaction. And robots are going to be worse.
It's more than that. So I think about this all the time because I have kids that are 14, twins. they're too they know too much. So if you look at relationship TikTok, everything you would ever want to know about the opposite sex, about how to engage, like they know too much, and then they get angry and expectations get high. Like there's so much information, people talking about relationships. We were so dumb 25 years ago. You would just like, when you were kind of ready to get married or whatever, whoever was in front of you, who you were kind of attracted to. I'm not talking about me personally. Just like I got lucky. I got very lucky. Okay. But a lot of people like from my generation and older is like, oh, like she was at my job and worked at the cubicle next to me and was kind of pretty. And like, that's how people ended up marrying people. Now I got super lucky, but most people that you were just dumb and you were forced to doing that. And you know what? It benefited you because you ended up not overthinking anything. Okay. You just like, you made it work. Yeah. What you didn't look for the perfect person. You didn't have these lists. Like, have you seen these like TikToks where it's like the 800 icks that a girl gets of a guy? Like it's like, it gets to a point where it's like, dude, like no one's ever going to be happy with a mate anymore because you're looking for all these things and conversing.
But my point is you see that and then you could program AI or a robot to be perfect, but to be imperfect enough. It's like a slot machine where it doesn't give you a win every time, but it gives you a win 1 in 7, enough that keeps you going and hooked. So the AI or the robot is not going to be perfect, but it's going to pull away just enough to make you want to chase it. I think it's going to be scary when it truly understands human nature to be able to push back as much as needed, to give you rewards as much as you need to stay addicted to it.
I know it's going to be scary, and I'm glad I'm just an investor and I don't think about that stuff. Because honestly, when I go down that wormhole, it's depressing. It's depressing for me because I see what's happening, and it's not good emotionally for people. And like lifestyle, like you're saying, no one, they're just staying single now. And I see so many people, like, because I read so many comments, the comments that I read more than anything else are like, I'm fine being single for the rest of my life. I see that all the time. They're like, I'm happier alone. I'm happier alone. Yeah. People are like, they've given up. They just don't even desire it. And that's what's messing with my head. Because you think about a dystopian future when the concept of a relationship as we've known it throughout our human history, could that theoretically kind of go away when you could have children without being, you know what I'm saying? Like you look at the way we have children now, and with science, we can do that, I think, in 20 or 30 years without even doing any of the stuff anymore. So it's like, it's a really dystopian future, and I see it happening. I really do. I'm seeing it in comment data right now, and I kind of ignore it because it has nothing to do with investing, but I can't get away from it.
Where do you think that's coming from? Where is the frustration underneath all of it? Because it didn't seem like this was like 15 years ago when I was in high school. None of that was a thing.
Because there's an echo chamber of people that are just as angry as you are. And you're able to converse with them or read their comments and watch their videos. There's millions of these videos that are like, women are terrible, guys are terrible, right? And then they just get in that echo chamber of, we're not going to hook up with guys anymore, or like, we're done with women. We don't need women. We don't need to be married. You get nothing from it, blah, blah, blah. Like, and listen, a lot of the points that people are making are valid on both sides. Both sides are valid. That's the problem, is that intuitively, when you read this stuff and you see these experiences that these people have had through marriage and relationships, you're like, I don't want that. Forget about that. And that's why I say it was nice a time when we were dumber and we didn't overthink everything. And we just kind of did things that intuitively maybe don't make that much sense if you're overthinking them. But you end up having this really cool life that's dirty and messy. And maybe your relationship isn't perfect, and maybe kids is hard and they're not perfect, but like at the end of the day, like it's part of life.